Who will the Lord honor when he returns? Hi, I'm Ken Yates from Grace Evangelical Society, and I would like to talk about that question here in the next few minutes. And what I mean by who will the Lord honor is when we stand before the Lord at the judgment seat of Christ, the New Testament teaches us that he is going to proclaim the name of certain believers. All believers will be in the kingdom, but there are going to be some people that Jesus singles out. The author of Hebrews calls these folks the medikoi, those who are going to be his close partners. In the Gospels, the Lord refers to proclaiming their name in front of the Father and in front of the angels. What kind of person will that be? In Luke chapter 14, verses 7 through 11, Jesus teaches on this subject when he says that when you go to a dinner, don't go up and sit in the front seat, but wait until the person who's hosting the dinner comes and he will call you forward and he will honor you. And his conclusion of that is in Luke chapter 17, verse 11, for whoever exalts himself will be humbled, and he who humbles himself will be exalted. And so there we get a picture of that. The kind of person that is going to be exalted at the judgment seat of Christ, the kind of person that Jesus is going to call forward to honor, if you will, is the one who is humble. Whenever I read that account in Luke chapter 14, I always think about what happened to me when I was in college. I attended a military academy in Colorado, and there was a janitor who worked at our campus. His name was William Crawford. And William Crawford did what janitors do. He emptied the trash, he cleaned our common areas, he scrubbed toilets, he cleaned shower stalls. And no one knew, none of us cadets knew, that he was a Medal of Honor winner. He had become a recipient of the Medal of Honor during World War II, when as a young man, he had saved the lives of many of his fellow soldiers when he, at great risk to his own life, took out a number of machine gun nests that were shooting at them. And he became a prisoner of war of the Nazis. And in fact, the Army thought that he had died. And they gave the Medal of Honor to his dad because his dad thought his son had died. But all that time he was in a prisoner of war camp. And then he returned, came back to the States, and finished his time in the military. And then when he retired from the military, he became a janitor at our school. And we never knew it until one day one of my classmates was reading some history of World War II and came across his name. You can imagine our response that most of us had never even met a Medal of Honor winner in person. And here was a guy who was buffing our floors, who was a hero. The greatest hero any of us had ever met in the military. And what happened was it became known that because he was a prisoner of war, he never received the Medal of Honor the way other Medal of Honor winners receive it, where the president puts it on their neck. And a few years later, it just so happened that Ronald Reagan was coming to speak at our school. And when he did, Ronald Reagan called him up to the podium and presented that medal, his own medal, and put it on his neck and read about his heroic deeds. I just think this is a great illustration of Luke 14. Here was a man who was humble. He didn't tell other people of his heroic deeds. He didn't tell other people about what he had done. He simply did his job. He did what he got paid to do, but still, when the most powerful man on the earth came, he recognized who this man was. And when Jesus comes back, those of us who serve him, those of us who do not seek the accolades from the world, it says that when he comes, he's going to call those who humbly served him up and honor them. That's what Reagan did for Mr. Crawford. And it's a lesson for all of us that the Lord does not necessarily honor those, well, he doesn't honor those who toot their own horn, but he honors those who humbly serve others, those who do what he tells them to do. So there's a lesson we can learn from Mr. Crawford, the janitor at the Air Force Academy. If you've enjoyed this, I hope that you press the like button. And if you really enjoyed it, press the subscribe button. And remember, keep grace in focus.